Hi, and welcome back to Michelle Creations. Today, I had a request for a super simple project that any beginner could do, but it would look very nice and quality enough to give to somebody as a gift. So I've decided to use our, they call this a pudding jar, and it is simply just a base and a lid, and the lid actually screws on, so I think it adds to the quality of this product. And I went ahead and mixed up some resin, and I added some white mica powder. This is just HTV Rant white, and I mixed it all in, and then I ran it through my debubbler to get all the bubbles out of it. And you want to make sure that you mix this really, really well. So if you're a beginner, you want to make sure that you mix your mica powder in really well. Or right there, see that one right there? It's floating. That's just mica powder that didn't get mixed in very well. So you want to make sure that you get this mixed really well, because otherwise the mica powder that doesn't get mixed in is going to float to the top of your project, and that's just not cool. It doesn't look very nice. It doesn't look very professional. All right, this has all been mixed up, and like I said, I ran it through my debubbling machine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to marble this. So I'm going to take a violet and a pink, and we're just going to mix that in there. And I'm going to just gently swirl it, not a lot, just a little bit, just enough to get the colors mixed in a smidge. And then we're going to pour it, and then we can always add more color as needed as we pour it in. And this will just end up giving us a real pretty, I'm going to leave that off in case I need it. Leave it over here. And then we'll do the purple. Like I said, we don't want a lot. We just want a little bit, because we just want a hint of color. Otherwise, you're going to be coloring all this white resin that you made, and that's not what I'm after. I just want a real pretty marble effect. So I'm pushing it down to the bottom so that the color goes down as well as on the top. And I'll give the top a little whirl, and that's good enough for me. Okay, and then we are just, whoops, I about dumped it. Did you see that? I'm going to go ahead and add just a smidgen to our jar. And then we pour. And then I'll just keep adding some color as we go. And then for the lid, I'm going to spray a little bit of alcohol in it just to make sure that we don't get any bubbles down in it. Especially around those, whatever those are called, where the lid screws on, the little screwy part, I guess. And then I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to add a little bit of color. And then pour it in. That looks really good. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to spray the top of both to get rid of any bubbles. And we have just a little bit left. I'm going to add a little more pink to it. And maybe one more drop of purple. It's got some, but we'll add a little bit more. Oh no. I don't know how I did that. I'm just going to swirl that in there so that it mixes a little bit. And then again, just swirl this a little. I don't want it a lot. I don't want to mix it into the actual ink. And then we'll pour, I'll find something to pour that into. Oh, I wonder if I got enough to pour a turtle. Oh, I don't think so. We're gonna try it. Probably not enough. I'm gonna spray that. It's got an awful lot of Oh yeah, if I scrape that, well, if I don't dump it all over the side. Oh, that must be coming up from the bottom. Or from the sides. It's interesting. All right, and then we just let everything cure. We'll be right back. All right, these have set up. Our little turtle turned out pretty cute. Didn't get a lot of color in it, but we were at the end of our cup, at the bottom of our cup, so that's pretty normal. A little over pour there. There we go. So you could do a lot of things. I'm going to put a magnet on it. You could drill a hole in one of his paws or even in his tail and attach a keychain and make that a keychain. You can do whatever you want to, but I'm going to make this one into a magnet. Well, I'll just show you how I do it actually, I guess. So I have these magnets. I don't remember where I got them. I think I got them on Temu, but I'll double check and I'll put a link on the, if I have a link, I'll put it in the description below. And then we just take that and you get something that can pull that adhesive back off of it, the paper. You can also use like E6000 or Gorilla Glue or something like that. And that's super sticky. You center it as best you can, press it on there, and it's done. Voila. Super cute, super easy. Okay, I love this mold. Let's do the top first, the lid. Just gonna break the seal and then gently press it out. There's going to be suction down in here, so it makes it a little more difficult to get out. It's not hard by any means, but when you have something that's hollow on the inside like that, you've just got to buckle this all backwards and then just give it a twist and it pops right out. Oh, isn't that pretty? Now this is the inside of the jar. This is the outside of the jar, so the outside does look a little different than the inside does. I still think it's pretty. And the white, you definitely get a marble look on the white. So it's a little bit of a rough edge around this. So I'm going to go ahead and use a nail file and I'm going to get that filed down gently. And then I always put a top coat of UV resin on that just to make that a nice smooth and kind of a domed top on those. So, and this one is a little tricky just to get that initial don't want to use anything that's going to hurt my mold. It's hard to kind of get that initial suction to break. Ah, there we go. But once you get that initial suction broke, here we go. Then this one's not too bad. You just got to get it started. And it does help to spray liquid down in there. I just happen to have my alcohol sitting here. Soapy water is better for your mold. I just keep forgetting to bring it to my craft room. You can see how that bubble is moving around the edge. It's breaking that seal. That suction between the resin and the mold. There we go. Oop, move on my table here. All right, and then I have to bring it against me because I use it against me this way to get that mold initial makeover. I'll be right back. Okay. The worst part on any mold where the bottom is wider than the top is getting it over that hump. And sometimes you gotta hold it against you and use that little extra leverage to get it over that thicker part of your resin project. Again, we're just squeezing to break that seal and popping it right out. And then always make sure you fold your molds right side out. Look how pretty that is. Again, that's the inside of your mold, but your outside's super pretty too. So anybody that likes pink and purple, this is going to be a really great mold for them. A really great project for them. Super cute. And then the best part is that they do screw together and it holds. This is a fantastic little project. And we do have a little bit of a ledge down here. You always want to make sure if you're going to sell your products that you take that little ledge off, because that is sharp. Easiest way to do that is to use a nail file. And when you file it, you just go down at an angle. Be careful not to rub up against your pot, because it'll scratch your pot, and then that you'll have to cover it if you don't want those scratches. But that takes that sharp edge off of there. And then the top, we're going to do the same thing, but you got to be more careful because the edge, the sharp edge versus the rounded edge is so close together, you almost have to go this way on that edge so that you don't catch the the finished part of your jar. So just take your time. Double check for smoothness. And it feels really good. Now you could leave this just like it is. There's no reason you would have to top coat this. I just like to top coat it and give it a little bit of a dome. So that's what we're going to do. I have Let's Resin Clear UV type. I also use J Diction. I'm not affiliated with anybody, so whoever is on sale, that's what I use. But those are the only two that I use. They're only two I've ever used. So I don't know the quality of some of the others that are out there. So I just go with what I know is a good quality. And I've never had any issues with either one of these. So. And then you just want to pull this out to the edge. Make sure it doesn't go down and over the edge. You don't want it to break the seal of that top rim. Look how much shinier it makes the top of this. It's so pretty. That looks good. Okay, get our trusty UV lamp out. And then we'll let that cure. Isn't that pretty? It gives it such a glass-like look. So I've gone ahead and I've added some UV resin to the bottom just to smooth it out, and we'll do the same. There we go. Both pieces are finished. You can always add something to the top. If this is a gift, you could add an initial or a couple of initials. You could put a really pretty sticker on the top of this. A really cute butterfly or unicorn sticker. I could see something like that on this. This would have been super cute. You can also do rub-ons like tattoos. You know how you get them wet and you stick them on and then just put the UV resin over the top of it. So super cute, super simple. You can do it in lots of different colors. You can even color the resin and just marble the resin as you pour it in. Much like what we did on our bunny jars, and you just get a totally different look for it. So lots of different ways to do those. So hopefully this is a good idea, and hopefully give you some of you starters or beginners with the resin projects some ideas. Little jars like this are fantastic gifts. People love, 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 love to get those. So you can do so much with them. So thank you again so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. If you did, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave us a comment if you have comments, questions, or have suggestions for future videos. Until then, we will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.